What's this about? A Taliban student at Yale?
Yes, apparently the United States, one of their premier Ivy League universities has admitted a student from, he calls himself a Taliban, and he's been admitted to Yale University.
He was the spokesperson
for the
Taliban.
He was the spokesperson in the United States for the Taliban, and they've admitted him to one of their best universities.
Yale.
I must have scored well on the GREs and the TOEFL. Yes.
I think he has a 4th grade education.
It's a puzzling decision, to say the least, on behalf of the admissions committee at Yale University. There are a lot of students in this country who work very hard to get into good American universities, and they're willing to pay for it. They don't get much financially.
Right. This guy gets a student visa, and I get frisked at JFK. I have a quote from him. He said, "I could have been at Gitmo. Instead, I'm at Yale."
Gitmo? Oh, Gitmo, yes, that other, so the seaside resort where his, no doubt his compatriots are. But what's he going to study at Yale? Is it going to be philosophy, perhaps a bit of Hegel, Marx, Engels, Kant? Because Kant seems to be the right guy. They talk a lot of Kant, and they cause a lot of trouble. And I don't understand why Yale University would have admitted him. However, there is no admissions policies at universities are difficult.
Well, I want to know what the women's groups at Yale University are doing about this.
The women's groups at Yale University have certainly should take up the issue with their dean of students.
Maybe he's studying lassoing women with nooses 101.
Actually, I may agree with him on that one, actually. No, so not bad.
Why do you think the women's groups are silent at Yale?
Maybe he's lassoing lots of them. So, you throw a rope, bring her in. What's wrong with that? I mean, bit of Taliban bondage, I don't know.
Well, what kind of qualifications do you think he has?
His qualifications probably essentially grooming his beard, probably. Yeah, I have no idea what qualifications he has.
He has a 4th grade education.
Yeah, well, there are people in this country, friends of mine's children, who are dying to get into American universities and willing to pay for it, and they admit this kind of clown. Strange. And I always thought Yale University, anytime people say Yale, Yale to me, I think you're talking about the key. Anyway, Yale University. It's difficult to know what to think of it. Is this a change of policy? Our army, on the part of the United States and their top Ivy League universities? Our army is scouring the countryside around the Waziristan agency at some cost, I may add, to our soldiers, and it's a ugly situation up there, and they're admitting this character into one of their top universities. It's very, very puzzling. I don't know, the only way I can think of explaining this is that there must be a shift in policy. Condeleeza Rice and her cohorts have decided, rather than bomb them, they want to educate them. Well, in that case, I think give priority to perhaps Mr. Ahmadinejad, the Irani president, should go and apply to Yale. Maybe they'll admit him, because since they want to educate people, then they may as well admit a few others. Yes, how else can we, what else, my little friend, new little friend, yes. You look like a very nice person to me.
You don't know me.
No, not yet. Yeah.
So, Yawar, what do you think of all these protests across the country against the government's pro-Western stance?
What choice does this government, or any other government for that matter, have but to have a pro-Western stance? Why don't we start blowing some of the cobwebs out of our head on this? Protesting what? You think you got a choice here? You think we can do anything different other than we're doing? I don't understand this. I have a view on this, and I'm not going to sit here and pontificate on it. But
that wouldn't be like you.
No, not at all. No, because we got to keep this short and sweet. Let me keep it short and sweet. You got no choice. And when you don't have a choice, you take the one choice that is in front of you. So stop it. Just stop it. You analyze Bush's visit to death. You've got every guy trotted out, every talking head trotted out. We've got no choice. No choice.
And yet everyone wants to go to Yale. They're wearing Levi's. They're eating their Mickey D's.
They can want to go wherever they want to go. You've got no choice in this. And that's it. End of story. And if you really want to get this story straight, think about it for a second.
Well, speaking of...
What are they going to do? They're going to bring... They're going to say, no, we're not going to cooperate with you on this. Forget the history. The history we all know. We know why we're in this mess. We know what happened. We know what happened in Afghanistan. This country didn't request the Russians to invade Afghanistan. There's an article in the newspaper saying the president has said that Hamid Karzai's charges against this country are utter nonsense. I couldn't agree more. They are complete, utter nonsense. Mr. Karzai can say what he wishes to say, and he's free to do so. But the fact remains that this country hosted, reluctantly, but did it, 20 million Afghans in our northwest frontier province for many, many years when we could ill afford it. They were poor people who fled the Soviet invasion. There was some guy called Mr. Brezhnev who, after 55 vodkas, decided to invade Afghanistan. The government of Pakistan didn't send him the booze. We don't drink over here. But he decided to do it. And there were consequences to that. And when there are consequences to things, we had to accept those consequences, which were pretty dire for our society. What now? What's the problem now? Did we invade you? The Russians invaded you. We didn't ask them to invade you. It caused us a lot of problems. Many more problems than actually you can possibly see. Mr. Karzai, all this conspiracy, and I do apologize if I'm being overly blunt, whining to President Musharraf. Maybe you should disarm some of your warlords. Maybe you should disarm some of the fighters who are still there in those camps. Perhaps you should send them to Yale. They're admitting. Yale has an open admission policy on Afghan warlords,
Fourth grade education is all you need.
Yeah, and you don't need much, you know.
No TOEFL, no SATs.
Waived, all waived. No problem. Just go to New Haven and you know, say, knock on the door. Say, I'm from Kandahar, and they say, Kandahar? Kandahar? Kandahar. Come in. So, Mr. Karzai, you can send some of them over there. Actually, it's a pretty good education from what I've heard, overpriced, mind you. And maybe they can sit and take, you know, I don't know, Economics 101.